Okay, this time we're going to be talking about good weapons, because today's topic is rocket launchers. I'm excited to get going, so we're just going to hop right into it. Welcome to the Gun Garage. Okay, the Cow Mangler seems kinda goofy, but it's honestly a lot better than it gets credit for. When you put up the stats, you're losing random crits and building damage in exchange for charge shots. And, of course, missing out on building damage is no monkey business, but holy crud, the charge shots are amazing. 120 damage at any range isn't a half bad deal for the class who does most of his damage at point blank. I see a lot of people who don't know how to use the charge shots right, so let me tell you. Never use it at close range, and don't spam it. Actually, you can spam it if you want, I'm not your mom. If anything, the one thing I'd like to change about the Cow Mangler is to let it get crits, but that's probably not going to happen, because then they'd have to model new projectiles. Oh, also, check this out. You can use the charge shot after the round ends. That was fun. Seriously, this is how you do an unlock weapon. When somebody says side grade, the direct hit is the gun I'm thinking of. And to be honest, I'm not the best with this thing. But that's what makes it so fun. It takes the basics of playing soldier and completely flips it on its head. If I were to change anything about the direct hit, I think it could use less damage fall off. Despite being a precision weapon, it really suffers at any kind of range. Nonetheless, this thing rocks. See, I thought the airstrike was just some gimmick weapon that nobody really used because it was weird. Wow. Hey, guess how big the rockets are when you're rocket jumping? A little bit bigger maybe, you know, to compensate for having literally no time to aim. Nah, they're 28% smaller. This is what it looks like every time you try and use this thing. Want to see it again? No problem. I can do this all day. It's impossible to aim this thing as is, but then it has a damage penalty. And then it has an explosion penalty. And then you get your butt kicked every time you use it. How about if the rockets do normal damage and have a normal explosion, but the weapon has, like, 20% slower firing speed? Then when you're airborne, the rockets could have even bigger explosions, like you're dropping bombs on people instead of paper airplanes. Also, just remove the increased clip on kill. I think that the reason the airstrike is so bad is that they didn't want to make it broken when it has an 8-round clip. But it isn't, it still sucks. The Beggar's Bazooka is incredible. The only playstyle for this weapon is to act like a complete maniac with no regard for your own well-being. You get in, you cause chaos, and you leave. By the way, quick aside, I gotta show you something. This engineer rushes me, misses 3 times with his wrench, and gets destroyed. When he types in the chat, do you think he, A, admits that he made a bad play, B, tells me what an awesome and epic TF2 YouTuber I am, or C, complains about random crits because yeah, you already know it's that one. Yeah man, the random crits were really the deciding factor when I hit you point blank with 3 rockets. Anyway, the takeaway is that the Beggar's Bazooka is awesome and you should use it all the time. The Liberty Launcher has one bad quality, and that is the 25% damage penalty. And you feel it every single shot. I completely understand why nobody uses this thing. That said, it's actually a lot better than it gets credit for. If I may be so bold as to define this weapon through a 4-second clip, this is how you use the Liberty Launcher. And it's pretty good at this, but if you want to rush in and act like a crazy person, well, that playstyle is spoken for. And that brings me to the ultimate problem with the Liberty Launcher. It does what almost every other soldier weapon does, but worse. But I think that this quality uniquely positions it to be more of a secondary weapon for a shotgun-based playstyle. If, for example, the Liberty Launcher could switch to other weapons faster, you could use the reduced self-damage to jump in and kick ass way easier. This could potentially make soldiers' shotguns and shovels way more viable by giving them more situations to be useful. In a perfect world, I think the Liberty Launcher could do with a 25% faster weapon switch. Then maybe increase the self-damage reduction a little, and while we're at it, get rid of the faster rockets. Alright, before I start, if you like the black box, that is completely fine. I do not like the black box. Bear that in mind as I discuss why this is a miserably designed weapon. The black box feels like putting a boot on your car so that pebbles don't get stuck in the tires. Losing a whole rocket just to get a couple health back on each hit just sucks. And speaking of health, who actually understands how the health is distributed? Like, until I tried using this thing just now, I thought it gave you 20 health per shot. But it doesn't. Most of the time, it's more like 7. This inconsistency makes it impossible to track the health of anybody using this thing. Plus, the black box rewards you for just doing the same thing you do normally. It's unchallenging, and most of all, kinda boring. I felt jealous of this guy over here using the Liberty Launcher. The black box made me jealous of the Liberty Launcher. I think that if you were to change it to grant, like, 30 health on kill, there'd actually be a point to it, and it would challenge you to do something other than randomly fire rockets for sprinkles of health. As is, the black box isn't the worst rocket launcher, it's just the lamest one. That's my 2 cents. Oh come on, now you're just messing with me. This thing doesn't even do any damage. You know what? I'm out of here. I'm gonna go play Minecraft.